Sweet. Okay. Welcome. Thank you all for being here. This is like back to basics stuff, right? So this is not going to like blow your mind or anything like that. Don't be like amazed at the design or anything. The whole point is just like, I've had a lot of conversations with a handful of people in the community, not in the community, and it's just like either the leads problem or the momentum problem or whatever it is. Like, how do you just basically kind of kill that voice in your head of like, what do I do? How do I do it? That kind of stuff. This has been the one thing that has helped me more than anything else, okay? And this was well before I knew what I was doing. So essentially, I genuinely believe every problem you guys have right now to some degree can be solved with a conversation. Like, that easy, right? So think of the leads problem. You could run ads, you could do all that sort of stuff. We're gonna get super basic. So basically, what is the value of conversations? It works on two levels. You actually learn what the market needs, which is huge value because otherwise you're just guessing, right? So the whole like you could build a product and all that sort of stuff first and then be like, hey, I made this amazing thing. And then the market's like, yeah, we don't need that, right? Now you just wasted hours and hours and hours. So kind of a daily application of this would be like, I'm building the airplane as it takes off from the runway. Like I'm telling you guys that every week, right? And I don't see any of you guys being like, this frickin' sucks. Otherwise you wouldn't be here, okay? And then the more important one though is like you hear yourself say the words. Ultimately, so much about what you're trying to accomplish is just the core belief. Like, do I believe that this is valuable? Is it in my bones? Do I feel it? And a lot of that is, it's just like scientific. It's just like hear yourself say it over and over and over again, right? Repetition becomes like truth, essentially. Sweet. So I'm gonna move this so it's a little easier to click. There we go. All right. So essentially, I don't want you to go a single day without having a conversation with at least one stranger. It doesn't have to be audible every time. It can be in the DMs as well. And no, you're not going to send 100 DMs a day. But if you can have a conversation with one stranger every day and every weekday, I'm not even saying the weekend, you can solve the problem. So it is absolutely easy to do so. But first kind of question I have for you guys is like, what is your monetary goal? Obviously, none of you are here just because of money. I get that, right? But as you know, from my core belief, money is thank you notes. So the more money you make, the more impact you've had, the more thank yous you deserve, okay? So what is your monetary goal? And if you can think of it in terms of thank you notes, I think of it in terms of impact. So I'd ask you to write it down just so we can reference it later. And I know, yeah, people in the room, because I've surveyed you, want to at least like 20K a month or 50K a month, 100K a month, whatever it is, okay? So whatever the number is. And then we're gonna go all Alex Hormozy on you right now. Basically, what are you earning right now? Business is just freaking mathematics. That's it, okay? It's the easiest thing in the world when you think about it. It's just math. So if you wanna make 50K and you're only making 8K a month, that's your level of ignorance. 50K doesn't exist. 42K now exists. That's what you're trying to close. Does that make sense? You close 42K one at a time. So you're gonna accept that you have ignorance, like you are incredibly smart, but you haven't cracked that one thing. That's fine, okay? So that's what we're gonna talk about. Essentially, again, to keep it super simple, is there gonna be a massive strategy in here? No. You don't have to go viral. I've never gone viral, okay? I've had 600 conversations in the last 3 years using this. I've never gone viral, right? Conversations that fuel my business. Content strategy, that's great. All that sort of stuff. Same thing with funnels. Of course you should have a funnel and all that kind of stuff, but basics wise, all of those are amplifiers versus like, let's start with the funnel, right? If you can't have a conversation with a stranger every day, the funnel is pointless. Like that's just basic, yeah? So just don't feel bad. Is there anyone having a conversation with a stranger every single day?
No.
Sweet. Maybe you, Margie, but you're like putting your head down right now, okay? So that's also the point. Just so you guys know, from starting coaching, having no clue what I was doing to now, I've made 6 figures. And I think one of the biggest things in making that money was honestly helping people who got complacent when times were good. So I just want to say that again. Like, say they wanted to make 20K a month and then they hit 20K a month and they're like, I'm good. And then they stop having conversations and they stop worrying about the content strategy. They stop trying to make it better. Like if you take anything away from this entire week, all of you guys are gonna have absolutely good moments, better moments than you've ever had in your business in the next 30 to 90 days, depending where you're at, right? You will have that, oh my gosh, this feels amazing and the money's good. And when you do, that's when you triple down and do more. Like ride your heater. That's why I do the purple patch in school. Like ride that thing, because what goes up must come down, right? This too shall pass. So you're in a shitty moment right now, this too shall pass. You're in a great moment, this too shall pass. The only constant is change. So if you're having a good period, frickin' go. Produce more content, talk to more people. Because that, maybe it's only like a 3-week period, that can pay for 6 months if you do it right, right? So it's not like, we talk about sustainability, and I'm getting on a tangent here a little bit, but we talk about sustainability. Sustainability in business is kind of a myth. It's like longevity is better in terms of how long can you last, but in terms of the application, sustainability is more of like when a sprint is available or when like the iron is hot, can you go balls to the walls? And then yeah, you're gonna have a natural come down, right? You might work 50, 60 hours in a week. When I know all of you guys care about flow and all that sort of stuff, I'm in a sprint right now, right? So from basically now until as long as I can sustain it, and you never fully know when it's done. Like plans are great, but maybe my energy goes terrible, or maybe I get sick or something or whatever, and then it's killed. So again, you never know how long it's gonna last. So if it's good, go. Does that make sense? Like produce more content, talk to more people, hear yourself say the words more, because you're literally building a foundation of, man, hear this conviction, here's my belief, here's my offer. If it is so much easier to sell your offer when you have full conviction in like a 2-day period and talk to 20 people than it is to do it over 2 months and talk to 20 people. Because you're just like, man, I'm in the groove, I'm in the pocket, let's go, right? So this is the more systematic way. It's gonna be so freaking simple. You're gonna be like, yeah, it's very easy to have a conversation every day. Cool. You guys are ready? Yeah, cool. First one, engine room. Very simple. This is kind of funnel talk. You don't have to have this perfect, build your airplane as it takes off from the runway, but you should have an idea in your mind of what is the most applicable and probably, I would say, lowest lift way to make sales and get people indoctrinated and like follow through the process. So we're talking about a funnel, right? So you'll be hearing news. Autonomy Club, I've been open with a couple of you guys, is gonna get way more freaking valuable. Why? Because I have 4 months worth of data now, okay? So I know exactly, like our last group call, for instance, when people shared, I was like, man, they're telling me exactly what I need to do. And it was like, I already knew it, but it was the final nail in the coffin to be like, oh, I know exactly what I'm gonna do for the next 90 days, right? And it's gonna be, just so you guys know, it's gonna be more valuable. So yeah, it's gonna be more expensive. And I'm gonna be even more selective of who I let into this thing. Multiple of you guys have commented like, everyone's so nice, like no dickheads. And I'm like, yeah, you think that's by accident? Like the best clients, the best way to have amazing clients and retain them for a long time is deciding who you let in the front door to begin with, right? So when you're having conversations with people, the goal is not to get the sale. The goal is to be like, would they be successful with me? Because some of you guys, it was like a couple of days. Like Margie, we talked like, what, 3-4 days, and then within a week you were inside the community. And with Kaylee, it was like 5-6 months or whatever. We were just going back and forth, and it was never exactly right. And then here you are. Well, yeah. Big Mike was skeptical too. That's good. But anyways, the point of this is literally, so this is the one I'm gonna go with, and I'll give you a little bit more context here, and I'll explain these. But if you're gonna offer anything high ticket, I think all of you would say, I'd rather work with less clients who pay more and stay longer than work with way more clients who churn and burn and pay less, yeah? For the most part? Like you'd rather have 5 amazing clients and make like 30 grand a month than have 100 clients and make 30 grand a month? Okay, cool. So almost all of you probably make sense, and keep in mind, sales is reps, the whole rule of 100 thing, like you're gonna suck, but you're gonna post content because that is the way you build trust and authority and authenticity. There is the whole faceless business. If you guys wanna get to where you wanna go in the next 12 months, you can't really go faceless. Is it possible? Absolutely, of course it is. But unless you're going like all in on product development and you're putting it all behind the product versus working person to person, this is the clearest route to success. And yeah, there will be bumps along the way. Content, a video sales letter. Matt's actually working on my final one right now. I've already done like 3 of them. Poor Matt, he's like edited 5 VSLs for me because I want to get it right. Because one VSL, video sales letter, the whole point of it is not to turn cold people to hot, but to turn warm people to hot. So how do you get them warm? You're doing content and giving your big ideas and your beliefs and your point of view. Yeah? So if they've been consuming that for a while, like 7-11-4, that whole like, the way to persuade people is allow them to binge 7 hours of your content, have 11 interactions with you on 4 different platforms. And don't think like 4 different social media platforms. Think like a one-to-one conversation's a platform, like a Google Meet, right? DMs is a platform, email is a platform. So you really only need like one social, yeah? And if you can get them from like content to private, like if you have a newsletter, by all means you can insert that here, right? I'm starting to get more salesy to my newsletter. It's fine. Like my unsubscribes are so low, you can get away with being more salesy in your newsletter. That's totally fine. VSL takes warm to hot, right? My VSL is probably going to finalize like 12 minutes, do you think? Yeah, something like that, like really short. And then get them on a call. What is the whole point of the call? Just so you guys know, Autonomy Club's going to tell you exactly how to do it, and you will close deals of like ridiculous high value if you feel like you're lacking in that area. I just need to make it, obviously. But the whole point of the call is for you to qualify them. Will they be successful with my offer? Because if they're not, don't work with them. For the love of God, or whatever you worship, do not work with people who you cannot make successful. Especially with AI, your reputation only gets more valuable. Protect it like crazy. Yeah? So, sidebar, because that's the perfect spot. I'm going to ask all of Matt or Zach or both. They're going to ask you guys for testimonials on your experience while you're here, either today or tomorrow. So just, it's casual, but of course I want to know what you guys think. Cool? If you are doing something that's less than 1K up front, like it can be, maybe it's like they pay $500 a month on a retainer or something. I wouldn't waste your time with the call because you're just trying to hit the numbers, do an offer doc. You'll also be taught exactly how to create an offer doc that converts really, really well, right? So what an amazing life, like where you can have an offer where you don't even have to get on a call and people are like, yep, sold, I want this, yeah? So like kind of getting the language to where they're like, oh my gosh, this is, as they read line by line, they're like, I've been wanting this for months. Oh my gosh, this is exactly what I've been wanting for months. Oh my gosh, I need this right now. Like that's the whole point, okay? I wouldn't just have them go from content to a call. So think of like your LinkedIn description. I wouldn't have a Calendly link in your LinkedIn description. There's just not enough value distributed there. And then if you want to do lead magnets, by all means, it's just keep in mind, if you guys are going to be selling 3K, 5K, 10K packages or more, lead magnet people, they still need about the same amount of warming up as like someone up here anyway. And a lot of people who download lead magnets, what it does is it kind of skews your, I'm not saying they're bad, they're valuable, but it can skew your numbers because now you have thousands of subscribers and they're all like tire kickers because they just want free stuff. Yeah?
So why would you put them instead of a lead magnet to take them from content to call?
Yeah, so that would get like crazy deep in this, but in terms of content, I would just do like super belief systems of what you're trying to build, like the way you guys build the whole moat around your business in the coming, I mean, who knows, AI is moving fast, but like 3 to 5 years or less is just like, do I trust this person, right? So it's a lot less about like, here's how you can do something, right? In fact, like I would encourage you guys, and I did this wrong for a long time and I'm getting better at it, but I'm putting people on my newsletter on what I call a value diet. So if I just give them the freaking answer in the email, there's no reason they should work with me. I'm not trying to withhold. I'm trying to pique interest around like a belief and like, yes, you do want to solve this problem, and to solve it fully or with help, coffee, right? That's kind of my mechanism because it's light, right? I pay people to get value. Nobody else freaking does that. They're like, hey, I'll have a free call with you and then you pay me. I send them coffee. Yeah, it's only $5. But my email newsletter today, I did the math, $170 worth of coffee got me 36K in the business. That's a 214x return. Give me an ad strategy that can do that, right? So that's what I mean. Like if you fully go in, if I have a conversation with one stranger a day, 5 days a week, like whether you use the coffee chat or something else, it will return way more than investing thousands in ads, which will work, but your ROI is going to be max like 10x. 10x is like the moon to ads, okay? You can do both. It's just like if you're starting with nothing, then do this. Any questions thus far? Making sense? Making sense? Cool. All right. Keep in mind, everything I'm about to show you from like here in the next like 5-6 slides are what I've paid a ton of money to learn, and I still feel like I'm really new. So social media is still something I feel like I'm an infant, right? I didn't even start posting on social media until about 2.5 years ago. So I will take all the advice from you guys if you've been posting for longer, that sort of stuff. But these are kind of the basics in terms of your social profiles, your business card. First thing is like your I help statement. For the longest time, I looked at this as like, oh, that's too boring. Here's the problem with that line of logic. Boring sells way better than clever. Clear beats clever every freaking time. So I was just messing around trying to sound cool. Don't sound cool. What's your I help statement, right? So these are the classics. I help my type of person get this type of outcome in this amount of time, or I help this type of person get this amount of outcome using this unique thing that no one's heard of before, your USP. I help this type of person get this sort of outcome without having to do this terrible thing, okay? So mine is basically, I now help agency owners, solopreneurs, and freelancers scale with flow. So in this case, the outcome is just one word, it's just scale. And I'm doing the unique mechanism route, flow, right? So that one thing though, like that's where conviction starts. The reason, you know, I've made what I have made and not twice as much is probably because of this one thing, honestly. Because I was messing around with my I help statement so much that if you're not crazy clear on just like the foundation stone, you'll make sales, but you'll make twice as many if you're like, this is exactly who I help. Because with that statement, as an example, if somebody gets on a call with me and they're not an agency owner, solopreneur, or freelancer, I'm just gonna not take the call, right? If somebody gets on there and they're like, yeah, I really just wanna make 100K and I don't care if I burn out, I'm not gonna take the call. Like it's a qualifier immediately, right? So it just provides a ton of simplicity. Oh, am I going backwards? I'm sorry. No, there we go. Okay. So for this, I want you guys to look at this. Yeah, who's willing to try? There we go. Can anybody write theirs right now? Like just in your little notebook. And if you wrote it or are about to write it, I would love to hear what yours are.
So I have mine on LinkedIn already kind of built this way. It
Yeah.
needs to be refined a little bit, but I have right now, I just pulled it up as we were talking about it. I help businesses clean data to unlock faster decisions, smarter automation, scalable growth. I think what needs to be changed is instead of just focusing on like business, be like business owners or people like make it more distinct. But I haven't figured out how I want to kind of like change and alter that yet.
Yeah. Do you work B2C or B2B more?
B2B, all, yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
I just throw B2B in there to start,
Yeah.
right? Like you'll refine it. Like I probably changed my LinkedIn description, no joke, like 70 times in a 6-month period. And the header photo probably like 40 times. And Naria's like laughing over there because she probably saw it.
Yeah.
She's like, this dude still doesn't have it figured out. And I'm like, no, I don't.
That
'Cause
does
I'm-
make me feel better because then I don't have to have it figured out either. We're all in the same boat.
Yeah, 100%.
A million times changed it.
Yeah, like it's your business. So if you treat it like a business card, it's not like, oh my gosh, I'm getting married. I gotta choose the one and never change it. No one cares. What did you have for lunch last Tuesday? Anybody know? Nobody gives a shit. All right, so like, if you're testing, I think what was really cool, like when I was in Georgia or whatever, Kaylee was like introducing me like, this is my coach, this is my mentor or whatever. And she helps people like run their businesses better via personal branding and all that sort of stuff. And she owned it. She's like, yeah, I'm getting better with my own business to make your business better. Like people spend so much time trying to appear like they have it figured out. Nobody has it figured out. Nobody has it figured out, okay? So, Jacob, thanks for sharing. Does anybody else have theirs?
Well, I just had a question on the statement because I think in yours you said like I help founders, solopreneurs, agency owners, and then you said like I help them do X, Y, Z.
Mm-hmm.
How do we feel about like having 3 things or like you know, instead of having like one catch-all maybe where you could just say founders? Because I struggle with that a lot where I'm like, okay, maybe I should just say founders, but maybe if I'm more specific, I include more people. And so I'm just wondering how you guys are thinking about, you know, that captured statement because that one sentence can do a lot.
Yeah.
But you don't want it to do too much where it's like, okay, now this is too abstract for me.
Yeah, it's the whole niching thing, right? So I wouldn't have you guys like stress too much about niching. The logic is sound. Like the smaller the market, the more direct you can speak to them, okay? But if you're unclear with it, I would literally just choose like, who do I really enjoy working with, right? So an early stage founder is very different than like a scale and exit founder, right? A SaaS founder is very different than like a brick and mortar founder, right? So here's the deal. If you guys are all gonna do high ticket, you need like 6 clients, right? And if you think you can close at somewhere around like 10 to 20%, which is 20% will be like average starting out, so 1 in 5 people, again, it's just mathematics. Okay, so if I want to target early stage founders, then I'm not going to talk to anybody else, and I'm going to go and talk to, we'll do 5 clients for easy math. I'm going to go talk to, what is that, 20 people to get 5 clients? It might be a little bit more, might be a little bit less.
Yeah.
But like, get it down to the least required variable of you. You're not worried about 5 sales, you're worried about 20 conversations. Right? Is that helpful, hopefully?
Yeah,
Okay, cool. Like, I wouldn't go like, I'm targeting early stage founders doing dog grooming services or whatever. Like I mean, if you do that and there's enough of a market, it's this whole thing called TAM, total addressable market. Again, if you only need 5 clients, like that doesn't really apply to any of you guys. So long as there's at least like 100 people and you can close at 10 to 20%, you're great, right? So in terms of total addressable market, it's really more like the front end difficulty of finding those people if it's really small. If it's a massive amount, just keep in mind how much noise those people are receiving, okay? So it's kind of like when we were doing SEO, now you've got me on a tangent, Margie, this is great. When we were doing SEO, if we targeted like used car for a local dealership in Milwaukee, that's like the most competitive term there is. There's like 50 billion searches for used car, right? But say this dealership only sold Toyotas, okay? So used Toyota. Now we're down to like 8 billion searches. What about a used Toyota Camry? Now we're down to 200 million searches. What about a used Toyota Camry 2009, right? So you're lowering the total addressable market, absolutely, but you're honing in on someone who is very specific about what they want. So the trade-off is, I have to educate you less on what you want because you already know it, and now we're just talking about, is this a good fit? Instead of, if you go to a wider market, you're gonna be required to give more education on your offer or what their problem is to make them take the next step, right? But that's kind of the beauty, if you guys do this for a long time, like creating content, talking about your beliefs, the reason how-to content isn't really that helpful to you is because everybody else, it's not distinguishable. But if someone says like, if they took this topic right now, and the first thing they said is like, everything somebody's told you about your LinkedIn description is wrong. Well, for someone who wants to do LinkedIn well, they'll probably click on that more than like 6 ways to make your LinkedIn description great, right? At least that person is more problem focused because they're like, oh shit, am I doing it wrong? Versus, can I just make it better? You want to solve problems. That's what a business does. It's the whole definition of a business is a solution to a problem, right? So don't focus on a tactic at all. It's like every single time you do anything, you're like, does this solve a problem for me or somebody else? That's a really good question to ask yourself, like constantly. Cool. All right, this is gonna go way longer than I practiced because y'all are doing awesome. Okay. In terms of the next thing, so the first one is like, what is your I help statement, right? What is your one sentence? Who are you targeting? What's the outcome you get? In what time frame? With what unique mechanism? Or with not having to do something, right? So I could be like, scale your agency with flow without having to hire a big team, run expensive ads, blah, 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 right? So that would be an example. The next one would be like, what's your proof, okay? And if you're earlier, whatever, totally fine. Just any possible result you can get is valuable. If you've, like for me, I've been in marketing for 14 years. I've served 1,200 clients. Not many people can say that, right? So that's a number I can use. I've had ownership in 2 multi-7-figure companies. Not anybody can say that, right? I exited an agency at 7 figures. Not everybody can say that. So like these are things that like pique interest in terms of authenticity, validity, all that kind of stuff, right? Anything coming to mind, like I would literally just write a bullet point of like, yeah, I got this result or I got this award or whatever. And you'll probably cycle through them and test. This is my new Instagram, and basically LinkedIn's more or less the same. So it's like, who do I help? That's my I help statement. Here's my proof, right? So this one specifically, like these two words are highly targeted to who I'm going for now. Like I'll work with you guys forever, right? But like who I'm talking to the new market is someone who is like, yeah, I actually want to scale and potentially exit my agency. I want them to do purpose-driven work, but this person is gonna be a lot more like in terms of verbiage, like the word exit makes no sense to a newbie. You know what I mean? But if I say exit, they have already had clients, they're already making 10, 20K a month, whatever. So now we're on a level playing field real quick. So if I get on a sales call, it's not gonna take an hour of education. It's gonna take 2 minutes to be like, we're talking the same language, right? So it's just, there's a lot of psychology behind just these two words. And then this is just, proof of authenticity, right? If they're like, show me the receipts, I could easily do that. Any questions with that? And then for Instagram specifically is like, obviously less is better. Something I sucked at for so long and I'm still getting better at was being concise. Now it's like, I'm trying to get everything super concise. You've probably even seen in my newsletters, they're getting a lot more like bullet pointy than they used to be. Cool. Here's LinkedIn, just for a little bit more. And this kind of demonstrates the funnel a little bit. I'm too cheap to pay for LinkedIn Premium because it's like $70 a month and all I really care about it is wanting a link. I'm not gonna pay $70 a month for a link, so I'm just gonna plaster it freaking everywhere. That's where my VSL is going. It's up here, right? I put it in my bio as well. Like, if you're gonna go the VSL route, because the whole point of it is to take someone who's already warm and heat them up and be like, oh shit, now I kind of know how this works. I need this. I need to talk to Margie or Wyatt or whatever. That's the whole point of it. So it's like plaster that thing everywhere. I would much rather you put your VSL on everything than create 2 lead magnets right now. Yeah? I know like none of you have a VSL at this point, but there's a reason I've spent probably 40 hours or more of my personal time trying to get it right.
I learned about that from yesterday. So.
Yeah, y'all won't spend 40 hours because I'm gonna give you the recipe real freaking quick. So the Volcano VSL is a good start. I'm gonna make it even better in the next 30 days. Cool? In the meantime, y'all have my WhatsApp, so freaking message me with questions. Cool? Da, da, da. All right, so yeah, link in bio. In almost every case, I'd have you point to a VSL if you're gonna sell over $1,000 up front. Right? Most of you guys are, does anybody want to do like the kind of pay in full route?
If you say it that way, no.
No, you absolutely can. I'm saying it more that way as in like, I don't suspect anyone's going to do that in this room versus you guys are collecting MRR, right? Monthly recurring revenue. Yeah, okay, cool. Either way, I'd have you put it in the VSL. If you don't have a VSL right now, but you have a way to collect people's emails via a newsletter as an example, or you already have a lead magnet that is gatekept, just put that there for now until you have a VSL. Cool?
Do you put your pricing in your VSL or no?
No. So, yeah, the reason I'm messing with it, my current VSL, yeah, kinda. The reason I'm messing with it is because after investing a lot of money in coaching in the last few weeks, there's something that I was completely blind to, and it's this opening of a loop. My other VSL like closes loops, which means like they have no curiosity, they almost have no reason to talk to me. And which kind of makes sense at the time because I was going to point them to an offer doc because I have weekly pricing, right? I'm less than 1K up front, so why would I take a call? Yeah, I'm going to change that now. Just so you guys know, my pricing is going way the hell up, not for you guys, but for new people. And so I'm going to take a call. And so the whole point of the VSL is to open the loop. So the whole point of like, if you were to run an ad, the only thing you want that ad to do is get them to watch the VSL. That's it. One action, right? The VSL's only job, the only action for my VSL is going to be book a call. Not sell the program, not talk about what's inside, book the call, right? So it's kind of like open enough loops and create enough pain and curiosity for them to be like, man, I at least need to figure out more, right? And then you just back yourself to make the sale. Good question. But yeah, final thing, just one link. Don't do like the frickin' Stan Store and Linktree and all that sort of stuff right now. When you make 100K a month, go for it, right? Or at least 50K a month. But until you're making 50K a month, I would not waste your time with it.
What about digital products then?
It depends. How many digital products do you need to sell to get one client on a retainer?
A lot.
Boom. I would do the one client. Like, once you get somebody on a call, not everyone's going to be a perfect fit, right? So having a lead magnet or a low ticket product is amazing, because guess what? You can still make money after that call. You'll have given them value, but they'll be like, $2,000, that's too much. Downsell. Downsell the low ticket product. This will help you solve this thing.
So like have it or like after the call, not just open there all the time type of thing.
Yeah,
It's
so
like an evergreen.
yeah, it's the like try and handle we're not going to get into sales and all that sort of stuff, but like you'll know exactly how to do it, handle objections and all that sort of stuff in the next like 30, 45 days, probably sooner. Basically just let the cat out of the bag. You guys are going to have exact step-by-step from every freaking thing there is. Like I can probably show you the Notion page I'm working on right now, where it's like you don't even have to think, honestly. Like you can just follow the steps and you'll make money, right? And the reason I didn't do it at first is because I didn't have 4 months worth of data. And now I have 4 months worth of data, and you guys are basically like, tell me what to do. And I'm like, yeah, I can tell you what to do, and you'll make money. But in terms of, say you handle the objections, you get them on the sales call, you're like, I don't know that they can be successful with me. Yeah, you don't have to leave that call and be like, well, I guess it's not gonna work out. You'd be like, hey, not gonna leave you hanging. Here's like 2 things based on what you said in this call. This is the one I would go for. And you have such confidence. They're like, yeah, no brainer. And it's only $45. Sweet. Okay, cool.
You're already
At least you got paid. Yeah. At least you got paid $45 or whatever the cost of your product is for your hour. Yeah. But the reason you don't put it on the front end is because and this is kind of putting pricing on your website too. It's not inherently wrong, but especially if you're high ticket, you really shouldn't be putting pricing anywhere, because if you have more than one option, the paradox of choice is that they choose nothing. If you give them only one route to go, as in like the VSL only books the call, not, hey, book a call or buy this thing, they won't do either. If their only choice to learn more is to book a call, they will do exactly what I want them to do, right? So the more choice you give, the less action people take, right? Once you have authority, that's different. All of us are below 100K a month. Okay? Fair? Any further questions? We haven't even gotten into the conversations yet. All right, so there's no point in posting content if you don't have the engine room. Obviously, it can be a work in progress. I'm not saying don't do a LinkedIn post or an Instagram post or whatever. I'm just saying, like, don't expect that to turn into sales if you don't have a very clear engine room for them to go. Yeah? So getting new followers and stuff is great. Grow your audience is great. If push came to shove and I was like, you only have 3 hours to work on content or work on your engine room is build it once, tweak later once you get more data, but you build it once and then it's done. So I'd have you build your engine room for a couple weeks and not post anything, and then start posting with it in place, right? It's meant to do the work for you. So any questions?
When you say engine room, you mean that VSL like funnel basically?
Yeah, turn your social profile into a business card. Have one clear message on all of them. Another thing, have the same profile photo on all of your social channels, right? Because people are goldfish, they forget. So if you make them jump through hoops to remember you, they won't remember you, right? Like, before you know it, every single post I write in the near future is either gonna have the word autonomy or flow in it. Because I'm gonna create basically my name as a synonym with those 2 words. He's the flow guy, he's the autonomy guy. It takes time to build, but once that's built, then I never have to worry about it again. Then I can say whatever the hell I want. So who decides that? The market. How do you get it faster? Frequency. If I only say flow like 1 every 7 posts, it's gonna take 3 years for them to put it together. If I say it in almost every post without like beating people to death with it, in 6 months, they'll be like, yeah, that's the guy. Yeah? You don't have to have one of those words. If you can, it's an ace in your pocket. It's a secret weapon, right? Like if I say Tim Ferriss, he's the 4-hour work week guy. Everybody knows that, right? That's an example. All right. Now, so I have questions for you. What funnel are you going to go with? Anybody? I know you don't have a VSL right now. I know it seems like pie in the sky. you will not spend 40 hours doing it. You'll know exactly how to do it, and you'll send it to me, and like I will actually help you edit it and all that sort of stuff, and then you just go. Cool? Is anyone not going to do the VSL funnel?
I don't know what it is.
Right. Yeah, okay, it's all good. Okay, we'll skip past this. Anyone?
Do you know what it is?
Well,
That was like the first thing I learned, actually.
Okay.
I learned this in reverse.
Okay.
Yeah.
That before offers, so.
I learned what it was whilst editing for Colby. I was like, oh, that's what this thing does.
Uh-huh.
I'm not that far then, okay.
Yeah, my
This
first
is just
time
a
did
video
this.
sales
Video sales letter. So when mine is done, you guys will see it straight away.
Yeah.
Cool. And then you'll kind of get the vibe and that sort of stuff. There's a whole science on like why everything is spoken the way it's spoken and that sort of stuff. My new VSL doesn't actually have my face on it. It's just going to be a voiceover, which is kind of wild. I'm testing it because I'm taking a little bit from the coach, right? But there's a whole strategy. Yeah, I know, Kaylee. Yeah, there's a whole strategy behind it.
Basically, it's a video that shows your methodology, right? That's how you would define it.
Yeah, it makes it very clear that they've had this problem for a long time and they can't wait to solve it. And then I have the solution, and then I'm like incredibly, I won't say vague, but curiosity driven on how it's solved. Because if I give them the solution right there, they'll just do it.
Yeah.
All right, daily practice. This is really where, I mean, honestly, like, do you want to be an entrepreneur? Right? Like, this is so freaking simple. All of you can do this like yesterday. If you can't do this, if this is too scary, like, I love you, but entrepreneurship's way harder than this if you can't do this, okay? So don't overcomplicate it, and don't think it's too basic, please. All right, so up until a week ago, not a single of this came from ads, not a single of this came from like a specific funnel. Coffee chats is my thing. Conversation. Doesn't matter if it's like an intro call, it doesn't matter if it's a networking thing, it doesn't matter what it is. Coffee's my thing. Feel free to steal it. By all means, you all have the funnel. Do it if it aligns with you. If it doesn't align with you, find your thing. For Naria, it might be networking events. But if like Naria goes into a networking event, right now it's just like, hey, I'm Naria and I'm awesome. Can you imagine if she has an engine room? Or she has an absolute like kind of mini script in her head of conviction and be like, yo, I've solved this problem a ton of times. Would you like to like have a chat next week? Right? So, and keep in mind, I've like invested a ton in ads to learn. I come from the organic world. Like every dollar I was going to put in ads for the first like $20,000 was going to be expecting nothing back because I'm an elementary student. You know what I mean? So conversations are capable of that. So again, just kind of, you guys know this already, right? Change my offer, change it again. 15 hours of flow, like never sacrifice like creative time. So conversation via content. And then, yeah, I'll talk about that more in talk 2. You don't need a perfect script. You don't need to close in the DMs. Like, if I were to make any recommendation for you guys, it's not like I know better than anyone else. I'm just saying the less I consume podcasts and look at other coaches and all that other stuff right now, whatever in your space, the less you consume, the more you're forced to create and solve. Like podcasts are great. If you're in a rut right now, the last effing thing I would have you do is listen to the 6 Diary of a CEO podcast to get out of it. All you're gonna do is consume and be like, I'm doing this wrong, and I'm doing this wrong, and I'm doing this wrong. And it's just not healthy at all. Like the best stuff I've ever created, I hadn't, up until picking up Matt and Michaela at the airport, which was like a 2-hour drive, I hadn't listened to a business podcast in like 6 months. All right. So consume, I see consumption as productive procrastination, unless you're like, I'm trying to learn a specific thing. If you're like, I'm trying to escape or I'm trying to solve, it's like, don't consume. Like the reason writing a book is magic is because that person had to sit there by themselves at a desk and be like, what the fuck do I want to say? And didn't have AI solve it for them, right? You guys all love reading books for the most part, from what I know. That's freaking magic. You know how magic is created? Not consuming. All right? So, little tangent there. Anyways, 9 ways, have a conversation every day. No, you don't have to send 100 DMs a day. In fact, I would have this suit your style. All you have to do is get 5 conversations a week, okay? If you want to do it in like a single sitting where you're using any one or multiple of these systems to get it, by all means. If you want to do it for a couple of minutes a day, do it. Basically, I spend like 2 or 3 minutes a day. I'm like, oh, I don't have 5 conversations this week, so I'll spend 2 or 3 minutes a day, make sure I get them, and it's easy, okay? These are all systems I use myself. So again, business is math. 5 per week, 52 weeks in a year, 260 conversations. Let's just do simple math. 1% of those people become clients. That's 2.6 people. So let's call it 2 people for conservative stuff. Most of you are gonna probably sell something for at least $2,000 a month or close, if not way more. That's $24,000 from something you can do for 2 minutes a day or 1 hour a week, aside from the conversations themselves, obviously, right? But to schedule 5 conversations a week, like, it's so, it's so little. Yeah, 1 hour a week, no ad spend, no excuses. Again, every single problem you have can be solved with a conversation, at least right now. It's not more complex than that. And so whatever number you wrote in terms of what you want to earn, and then you know what you're currently earning right now, this is all you need to close that gap. Genuinely believe it, right? If you want to dial it up and say have 10 conversations a week, of course. First conversation, more or less, like these are gonna, anything in white is gonna be my own voice, so adapt it. I just wanted to give you some kind of template to see, but like the first one is literally like, if you're posting content every day, this is freaking easy, right? You post the content, somebody likes it, go to the likes and the comments and then just send them a DM, right? They're already engaged, they already looked at your stuff, they already think you're valuable. Sweet. Get that from, first of all, thank them. There's not enough freaking, I got 3 emails today from strangers who were like, this is what we do, I can solve your lead gen problem. It's like, I've never spoken to you, how do you know I have a lead gen problem? Like all that kind of stuff, like stop, don't talk about yourself, right? Thank you so much. Always want to let people know I appreciate it. I like to double down on gratitude. I think it's just like is more memorable. And then if anything in particular stood out, you don't have to do this line, but if you do, then you'll collect qualitative data on like, oh, I really like this particular part of your post. Sweet, that's the market telling you, do more of that, right? Any chance you can collect qualitative, I like qualitative data almost as much as quantitative, right? Tell me what you like and how it left an impression on you and I'll do more of that. That feedback will tell me if I should do more like it. Again, you don't need to include that line unless you want to do it. Again, this is my voice. If it was just support, all good. I'd love to know what's up with you. Almost all of my DMs don't actually ask a question in the front. My whole point with DMs is like, yo, acknowledgement, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I don't even ask them a question. Because the people who respond, I'm like, all right, vibes check. If they respond like, oh, it was so great. And many times they will tell you what they liked about it. You don't even have to ask, like, what did you like about it? Be like, thank you so much for liking today's post. And be like, yeah, I really like this particular bit. Sweet. And 2 messages later, yo, I hate the DMs. You do too, right? Coffee? And we're done. Cool. Surveys. Y'all know me. I love a survey. Probably sent you how many surveys at this point. This is more or less exactly how I've done it. I've sent thousands of surveys and gotten a 41% response rate from cold people and a 63% response rate from someone I had a conversation with prior, right? But the point of it is keep it 3 questions or less. You're not trying to collect the whole hog if you send a survey to a cold person. They do not care about you, all right? So kind of appeal to their finer nature of being a good Samaritan. And so it's like, yo, I've got a 30-second survey. If you can tell people how much time it takes, they will actually like pay attention. So every time I send a survey to a cold person, it has to, my criteria is it has to be under a minute. It has to be 3 questions or less. And I have to like tell them, no, I'm not collecting your name, email, or phone. That would be amazing and I would love it. In fact, kind of the sneaky way to do it, if you send a survey, say you want to learn about like, should you run a webinar and what should the topic be or whatever, that kind of stuff. Your 3 questions are in there. At the end of that, they submit it. And then the thank you page is, if you want to join said webinar, here's where you can put your details in. You get the data. If they don't submit their details, that's fine. You got the data. If they do submit their details, sweet, now you got a lead. Get the information first, get the details later, right? And then just respect people. If they don't give you their details, leave them alone. Yeah. All right. So this is just one example. You can do a million things. Webinar, content offer, whatever it is. I would honestly, if you keep it below 45 seconds, you're going to get a pretty good response rate. Tell them you're not collecting their name, email, or phone. Cool. Any questions on that one? I feel like nobody surveys but me for some reason. But it's been-
What would you ask? Like this is like after you've had an initial conversation with them?
That makes it easier. Yeah. Many times you can just like go to somebody and even if it's a cold person, like say you go into LinkedIn and you're trying to serve an early stage founder in like the SaaS sphere or whatever, you would search SaaS founders and that sort of stuff. Yo, I'm just collecting like discovery data for people just like you, but I'm not collecting your name, email, or phone. This is like data only. 30 seconds. Cool with it? Cool. Right? Like when you say for people like you, it's some reason that like triggers them to act more. But ultimately, this is a quantity game like anything else, right? You send 100 surveys, maybe you only get 50% of people that do it, right? So when I say 41% and 63%, I mean in terms of finished the survey. I don't mean in terms of like clicked into it, right? So,
Kobe, just real quick, estimated where are you at in this?
Yeah, we're probably like 2/3 in.
Sure.
Solid. Love it. Okay, cool. This one I think is completely applicable for all of you, especially once you learn what a VSL is and I teach you how to do it and all that sort of stuff. I would have you do this exactly, especially to people you have talked to for a while but didn't have enough value to give them for them to buy, people who you know could buy, like whatever it is, like the problem you solve is for this person. I'd be like, yo, I'm actually just seeking feedback for this new thing I did. And like, I absolutely trust your opinion. Willing to give it a watch? And that's it.
Random question, but I'm part of a community of women entrepreneurs, which technically that's 3,000 possible leads for me because that's who I serve. Do I post in that community in a school being like, oh, I would love some feedback, or do I DM people personally?
If it was me, I would DM. First thing you got to do, if it's not your community, you got to ask the organizer if it's okay to do it.
Everybody does.
Okay, cool.
Just to connect with you.
Yeah. I think if you're in a community of 3,000 people putting it out there, you'll get some responses. You'll probably get a higher conversion rate if you go to someone directly and be like, I thought of you for this and I genuinely value your feedback.
Okay. Even if I don't know them, just like
100%. Yeah. So you could say, I thought of someone in your position for this.
Okay.
Right? Like someone in your position's feedback would be super helpful to me. Again, so like you are asking for something, but you're doing it in such like a, if you do it, it's amazing. And if you don't, no worries, right? Like I know what I'm doing. I'm interrupting your day, you know, that kind of thing. So it's literally just like, just be so thankful or like appeal to their better nature. Like I know you care about helping other people, like genuinely asking for help here if you have time, no worries, right? And then ultimately everybody wants a free t-shirt type stuff. So, and I already send coffee to people. So I'm like, and I'll send you a coffee when I get the feedback. As in like, I'm not going to send you a coffee for considering it. If you take your time, I'm going to send you coffee. Yeah.
How do you deal with like quantity of data? Because you said like, oh, okay, now I'm gonna show you guys something because I have 4 months of data. How do you know when you've collected enough data, basically?
I would love to give you a scientific mindset behind this is if I think about it for over a few weeks and I can't ignore it, that's pretty much it. Like it's like gut intuition. Like I think Autonomy Club is really good. I know it can be great. And I've been thinking that for a while.
Because sometimes someone will tell you like a really big thing, but it's one data point. Whereas like
Yeah.
then you scale that across like 10, 15 people and you're like, okay, maybe it doesn't have that same like amplification of like me having one meaningful conversation, but like
Yeah.
if you're going based on feel, maybe that is like, oh, actually that's the direction I want to go, you know?
Yeah, so it's kind of this first thing. It's like there's like this dopamine delay, right? When you have a big idea, I would honestly have you write it down and put it in a drawer, right? Or if you get, in this case, you get 1 point of feedback from somebody like, oh my gosh, that hit me like a lightning rod. Don't change your entire business. Like remember that moment and put it in a drawer. If it comes up again, that's a really good indicator. If you cannot stop thinking about it for like the next 3 to 5 days, I'm not saying there's a finite thing. Like The reason Autonomy Club is taking weeks and stuff is because I had a few more questions to ask to be like, yeah, I'm definitely going to improve this. I was going to do it anyway. It's just I upped the questions, right? But like, if it's really hard to give you a definitive, but to me, it's like gut instinct is required, and then if I can't stop thinking about it, right?
It's like when you go to the store, if you try a shirt on, and before you leave, you start thinking about it, you buy it.
Well, yeah, but like if you do it in the moment, it's harder to discern why you did it.
Yeah.
Because if we do things when things feel good, like that's why entrepreneurship is so hard. The majority of it sucks. Like what I tell you in our first call, I was like 98% of it sucks, 2% of it's or 1% of it's okay, and 1%'s amazing, or something like that. And that's pretty much what it is, right? So if you do something in like kind of a dopamine spike, even if it works, it might not have staying power because you're like, you're attributing that decision to a feel-good feeling rather than like a long-term mission. And a long-term mission is just a series of steps, really.
The reason is because I come from an environment where like everything needs to be backed up by like a statistically significant amount of data. Because like in software, if you're building a product, you have to like kind of validate like, okay, here's like 5 to 10 people that complained about this and like why we should go and fix it, rather than like, you know, doing these other initiatives that we want to do that might create delight or like these things. And so it's almost like a prioritization mechanism, but obviously software is something that you build at scale for like hundreds of thousands, millions of people, whereas, you know, what we're doing is more so like, yeah, if I have like 10 perfect fit clients, like I'm good, you know, so.
Right. Yeah, so it's just two different types of businesses, right? Like when you think about it, if I were to give it specifics, like those businesses have to be quantity based because they're user based. It's like, how big is the problem really? It's like we've all worked in a corporate world or something where it's like someone puts urgent at the front of the email and most of the time you're like, no, right? But all of your guys' businesses are gonna, what I would call it like compass based. That's why your belief is so freaking important. If you do not believe in what you're doing, there is no right for you to actually share it. Now, discovering it along the way, you're not supposed to have it all figured out. That's fine. But if you're not 100% sure that you're at least heading towards something that means an incredible amount to you, then I would just have you like, if I was just being very adult about it, I'd be like, go fuck shit up. Like, just have more experiences. Like, the beautiful thing with it being your business is that if you feel something, and I'll give you a perfect example, is like Autonomy Club exists because I went to a cabin in the middle of the woods, didn't like my existing offer, which was one-on-one for agency owners, and the people I was attracting were like, yeah, just do everything for me, which is my fault. Great people, my messaging and positioning confused them to make it think like, oh, he's gonna do everything. That's my fault. That's where you learn. Like, ultimately you create an offer, you put it to market, and then you receive the feedback and you're like, wow, I changed this, 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 and this, right? I was kind of having that moment where I was like, I have 6 more people who want to work with me with this offer, and I told them no, because it was like, if I do that, this only feels worse, right? So again, it's not about the money. So it was just convenient. I went to the cabin, had this feeling of the whole like U+2 community style stuff, and from that, instead of only going on that intuition, it was intuition led, like compass led. The first thing I did was I messaged my mentor when I got back to cell service. It was like, thoughts? And he said exactly the right words. He's like, sounds like you have a ton of conviction. Ultimately, the market should decide. And the moment I got behind my laptop back home, I surveyed 30 people. And I got 23 responses. And there was one question in there where every single person, some people were making $1 million a year, some people were making less than 6 figures a year, and some people were making between like 100 and 500K a year. Every single person said the same thing. And I was like, that was the one question I needed clarity on. Well, 23 people just gave it to me. So I could have waited for 100 responses, but it's like, why? Don't make plans, make moves. Like, once I knew, I'm done, right? And then literally like started talking, I think I conversed with you like, what, 2 weeks after or something like that? And I was like, yo, you clearly believe in me and we're having coffee right now and this is awesome. This isn't built. Want to hang out? I'm going to build it as I go. You cool with that? And just did that over and over again. Does that answer the question? Hopefully. Cool. All right, coffee chats. I won't like go crazy with this. Y'all have the coffee chat funnel in school. By all means, like that's how you make it luxurious. Again, like make it your own and enjoy it. If you steal it hook, line, and sinker, by all means. I don't own anything. Have fun with it. Enjoy it. Okay? Does anyone have any coffee chat funnel questions? I mean, it's like super straightforward. You've all basically experienced it at this point. This is honestly, I think most of you guys are in this room because of this, this thought process right here. You know how many DMs you get? Like if you, probably 19 out of 20 DMs you're getting right now from people you don't know are they're attaching something. They're attaching, I want to sell you later, or I want to learn more information about you, or I need your time. Fucking send somebody a DM and say, you're awesome, and get out of there. I've gotten more coffee chats from being like, yo, that thing you did, I recognize that thing you did because you posted a very vulnerable thing on LinkedIn or whatever. That's freaking dope. And then, yeah, you can ask, how does it feel? Because people want to, if they take a big risk or something, they'll want to talk more about it. Like, be genuinely curious. If you're not actually curious about the person you're sending a DM to, you wouldn't like working with them. Don't yes, sales is quantity, but if you guys only need 6 to 10 clients, don't send a DM to somebody because I told you so. Like, genuinely be like, if this person reciprocates, I would love to work with them. I'm not going to be in a hurry and I'm not going to attach it, but they're worth my time today and a year from now. Yeah? And if you do this right, you'll get inbound messages from people. And then the challenge is this person worth my time? And then you'll have tactics and tools to know how to politely tell them no. Or to send them to a low ticket product so that they can get more serious before they're worth your time. Yeah? Does this make sense? Like, good vibes just for the sake of it? You guys want to get conversations? Like, it is not complicated. If you send 20 of these in a week, you're going to get at least 3 to 4 conversations with people. Yeah? Outbound stuff, right? So a lot of you guys are on LinkedIn or Instagram or whatever, you engage with other people's stuff, just follow that up with a DM. You liked their post, you commented on their post, just send them a DM and double down on it. Like, yo, I already like this, here's why. Like, give them qualitative data. You think they won't reciprocate? It's crazy. And the next one's even more fun, or next one or the one after is even more fun. This one, honestly, I don't think you guys will ever need this, but if you're literally like, I'm in a rut, LinkedIn sucks, I don't want to be on social media, blah, blah, blah. Like, you all have, this is all straight Alex Hormozy in $100 million leads. He's like, you don't have any leads? Like, look at the contact list in your phone. Look at all them leads, right? I literally just go to people on my phone if I'm feeling like there's a lull or I don't have 5 conversations yet, and I'll just send like a 30-second audio message to somebody. Especially in this stage, again, you don't have to connect it to this person needs to pay me later. Like, I sent this audio message to a buddy of mine a week ago. He's never gonna pay me, we're buddies. I'm getting in the reps of sounding natural, of giving a 30-second audio message. LinkedIn only allows 1 minute in an audio message, right? Practice on your friends, practice on your family. Who gives you time? If you feel awkward like conversing with a stranger, then start with people you know first. Hear yourself say different things. Yeah? That one's pretty self-explanatory. This is the fun one. This one I just tried the other day, and it absolutely works like gangbusters. Everybody, people are deciding if it's worth their time, right? Everybody has a sales call link somewhere. Like, you go to their website or whatever, contact us, book a call with us, whatever, do it. Book a sales call with somebody. And then the moment you get on the call, hey, I have no intention of working with you. I just think you're freaking awesome. I've noticed your work, and I just wanted to let you know. And if you want to give them coffee, you can. That's what I did, right? But I booked. Does anybody know Contact Studio? Does anybody know who Jake Ward is? Okay, he's got 150,000, 200,000 followers on LinkedIn, something like that. I've been in the DMs with Jake for some months now, but it never really got anywhere. So finally I was like, F it, I'm just gonna book a sales call. So I went to Contact Studio and booked a call. Didn't even talk to Jake, talked to Tyler.
Hey Colby, great speaking with you as well. My apologies on the delay in responding. It's been non-stop in obviously launching Clio, running mentions and doing contact. So yeah, we're doing 17, 18 hour days, which is fun but tiring at the same time. And I actually got coffees for the team yesterday from Starbucks with your voucher, which is much appreciated. And the ironic thing is, on my way home in the Uber, I left my phone in the Uber because I was too busy concentrating on not spilling the coffees when I was getting out. And I eventually got it back, which is all good, but hence the slight delay in me replying to your last message. So yeah, we're currently just lining on our Q4 incentives. We're just moving a couple things around. And then over the next week or two, we should have a clearer picture in capacity in terms of like Jake or myself or Rob being able just to get on a call and running through that thing. So if you don't mind just sending me just a bit more information just so I can share it with them in terms of like what you're doing, what you're looking to get from it, what value you think we can bring and give, and we can get aligned and hopefully get something in the calendar in the near future to run through.
So long story short, booked a sales call, immediately told them, don't sell me, I'm not your ideal client. Then he like completely divulged like everything that they're working on, was super open, nicest freaking human being on earth. And they're probably going to speak to Autonomy Club some point in the next 3 months as like an expert jam, right? 30 minutes of my time. In this case, I spent $50 on coffee. It's the most I've ever spent because I was like, buy a cup for the entire team, right? The whole like, you either spend in money or time. Like you guys all have books and coffee and all this sort of stuff. I like spending money because I think it speeds stuff up, right? So buying $50 worth of coffee, like the whole team got to enjoy it. Yeah, now everybody knows my name there and I'm not in a hurry. Sweet. Any questions on that?
Is that almost kind of like booking a call with somebody that you admire too? Like
100%.
somebody in the same space or similar space. And
Yeah.
you're just like, I love what you're doing and I wanted to connect with you.
Yes.
Because there
Lauren.
may be potential to collaborate later down the road or whatever it may be.
If they are picking up on the vibes after the first bit of just gratitude, I would only walk in there with gratitude. You'll know what to do after that. If they start reciprocating, it's very natural. Then you go into like, he's like, how can I help you? Because I really like your vibe and all that sort of stuff. And I'm like, well, I've been talking with Jake in the DMs forever. Like I would love one of you guys to kind of just tell us about SEO or building your agency or whatever, right? He's like, yeah, absolutely. Like send me a voice note and we'll get it sorted. So I would absolutely do that. If you have somebody who's like, my hero, if you can find a sales call link somewhere, frickin' do it. I didn't even speak to the guy I was trying to connect with, and now he knows my name, and the whole team is like, sweet dude, bought us coffee. I'm gonna be doing this for a long time. What do I gotta be in a hurry for? I'll meet those guys in person probably. Like it's just, enjoy it, yeah? So, and if you want kind of like the science behind it, you're like, why would I do that? It's distinctive. It's a pattern interrupt. You're the one message out of 20 that's not asking for anything, that's actually giving them something. Like, it's insane. Again, and if you need the numbers, $170 on coffee, which includes the $50 since June, and $36,000 in return. You guys know how transparent I am. Like, you see the numbers, yeah? That is ridiculous return for you to be like, my old business partner used to say, don't trip over the dollars to get to the pennies. Like, if you're holding white knuckle on $5 for a coffee, like, I'm here to help. Like, you just toughen up a little bit. I'm not saying spend a ton of money. I'm saying if you can't part with it because you don't believe enough in yourself to go make 200, 2,000, then talk to me, because you don't have to be alone. But like, there's no advantage to holding your money like freaking tight fist. I'm not saying risk your entire family's livelihood, but I'm saying like, you spend more than $5 on something you throw away 2 days later, right? Like the barrier of entry is so freaking, there is no secret sauce to talk to somebody who you think is impressive. McConaughey actually said it when I listened to that episode on The Drive or whatever in Diary of a CEO. It's like, be less impressed and more involved. And that was my biggest problem. I was like, well, I can't talk to Jake Ward yet. He's got like 200,000 followers. No. Right? This last one, we're nearly to the end. This last one is something I'm going to do. you could kind of almost consider this the content or like the engine room a little bit, is if you send it to, or you get a new follower, it's not like crazy personal touch, but it is distinctive a little bit, is like if you just record like a 30-second kind of generic video, like, hey, thanks so much for the follow, like curious where you found me, you know, if I can help in any way, let me know. And once I do that, I'm just gonna have Lloyd send it to everybody. I'm not gonna do it. And if they respond, now I know somebody, like now I can converse with that person.
When I get those, I already know where it's coming from because obviously we know
Yeah.
the back part. And
Yeah.
then I'm like, oh, it's not personalized. I'm just trying to be sold or whatever, and I don't like them. Is it just me because I know where it's coming, and people that don't know where this is coming, they're like, oh, this is so cool. Or does everybody feel that's awkward?
No, I'm with you. I think it's one of those things where I'm like 90% in your camp, but I haven't actually tested it yet. So I want to test it, and then if it feels off, then I'll kill it.
I mean, it feels off when I receive it.
No, but that's what I mean.
Right?
Like,
So I don't know. I don't think I could send it because I don't want others to feel like I feel when I receive it.
yeah, it's like it could be a reputation harmer. I want to confirm if it is.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
A good example of this way back is like everyone was like, LinkedIn engagement's so important, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I'm not gonna hang out on LinkedIn for 6 hours a day, screw that. And so that is originally why I hired Loy, was to like respond to posts and stuff. And that was a reputation harmer. In fact, I probably ran it too long, right? But when I knew, I was like, I kill it dead. Like, don't go into this thinking you're not gonna make mistakes. Like you're gonna make 100 mistakes to every one win. Like it's just, but I care more about knowing than I'm concerned with looking stupid. Does that make sense? Okay, cool.
Yeah, I would say with stuff like that where you don't like receiving it, like what would make you like receiving it? Like would it be like the person literally saying your name? Like what would it take for that to be like
I feel like everybody's trying with the audio, with the video, that I'm like, no, you don't want to send me a video. You sent 6 videos today. Don't do that to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you send me that 2 weeks after connecting because you've seen a post, then yes.
Yeah.
Because you truly want to send it
There
to
you
me.
go. So you just found your version of this. Like find what you would enjoy getting.
But it's also trade-off based, right? So like in this case, you record a 30-second video, you do it once, okay, you offend a few people and you're paying attention to the data, you might kill it, but what if it's not what you
Works,
thought?
Yeah. That's
right?
what I'm asking to see how
Yeah.
all
So,
people feel.
I already do this on
Boom.
LinkedIn when
All
I
right.
reach out to people.
Right?
But you do it personal?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so I've changed it a little bit within the last month
Why do I wanna
of like trying to correct to where it's like, hey, I don't have time to live. Like I'll send out like 20 messages sometimes within like a week, and I'm like, okay, adding the name each time doesn't work. But I'm like, I changed it to where it seems more personal when it's really kind of, it's like, hey, you know, and I will usually correlate it to like, hey, they put a post out about something, and I'll be like, hey, it really resonated with me about that post I just posted the other day,
Yeah.
and I kind of time it to that, to where then it's like, oh yeah, I just posted about that. He must mean the one I just posted, and then I get responses. I closed 2 clients that way.
Boom.
Those are from LinkedIn, just literally being like, they're like, hey, thank you so much for putting together like a video. It's literally me standing in front of like the mountains in my backyard, and just saying like, hey, you know, thanks, you know, so much for the follow. I love what you're posting and things like that. I'd love to have like a 5-10 minute conversation with you. Would you mind? And then they responded right back.
Yeah, distinctive, right?
Yeah.
Especially like the background, like all of these are like pieces, characters in the play, so to speak. I think like to answer, if you have the time to send them personal, like 3 years ago when I first started LinkedIn, I don't know if you guys ever like saw the name Adam Peters come in my group, like Nuria knows, right? When I had no idea what I was doing. Homeboy would send a personalized Loom greeting to every single person who followed him. He's now got like 15,000 followers or 20-something thousand followers. You think he's doing it still? It's like if you're at the beginning and you have the time to do it, I wouldn't overanalyze it. Like if you're spending 20 minutes per profile to be like, how can I find the thing to reference to resonate with them? Like you're wasting your time. Like if you can keep the barrier of entry low to like 2-3 minutes and then a 30-second video, you're gonna get conversations. Always, if you have the time to personalize, right? But you also have a business to run. You can't stay in LinkedIn for 6 hours a day, right? When you get to the point where you're like, okay, personalizing is actually now detrimental to progress, then you can switch over. So every single thing in here, there's no tried or true whatever. You can use one system, you can use 6 of them, right? Like I use all of these pretty much interchangeably because it's like second nature at this point. I haven't done this one yet. That's why I wanted to preface it. I've received these and I kind of am of the same opinion, but then I also think like, for instance, the coach I just hired did it. Like homeboy makes $30 million. Like, can I really scoff at his technique? Like I should at least try it. Same thing when I paid for ads coaching. I did everything step by step perfect. And then the moment I launched the ads, I'm like, I fucking hate this. This doesn't align with me at all. I went through the entire process before I said no. And the moment I knew it, it was like intuition and compass stuff. And I had only 4 days of testing at that point. I'd spent hundreds of hours in Meta trying to figure it out. But like after that, I was like, this doesn't align with my brand at all. Can I make money from this? Absolutely. Am I going to work with people I don't want to work with? Absolutely. Right? So everything's a trade-off. Yeah. If you have the time, personalize it.
I had somebody do the LinkedIn posts for me too.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until my brother was like, you made a comment the other day on someone else's post, and I was like, yeah, that wasn't me. He's like, I knew that wasn't you. And then when he said that, I was like,
It's got to go.
yeah, it's like my brother could see that, and my brother and I are very different from each other. So it's like if he noticed it,
Yeah.
and it was just a comment. I was like,
Well, and if someone else is doing it, what's their number one mission? Is to like try and follow instructions. But like a message is inherently a personal thing. And a comment is just a different type of message, right? So when Loy was doing it for me, she was doing exactly what I told her to do. But she's not me. And it was so freaking obvious. And I let it run way too long. But that's a mistake, right?
Yeah, so for my, and going back to like, hey, taking a bunch of time and being on LinkedIn, things like that, I automate everything that I have. So every person that I follow within LinkedIn, they're all set up in the system. They're like, hey, they posted, I can set that up from a technical perspective of like, hey, cool, they posted today. I should reach out to them. I haven't talked to them yet today, or like I haven't messaged them once before. So it will literally just send me an alert and just be like, oh yeah, hey, someone posted today. So I don't have to spend time on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I don't like interacting with that person anyways. I don't have to do anything for that person. So it makes it to where it makes it more quote unquote personalized, but it still allows it to where it's like I'm not spending hours in LinkedIn looking at people's stuff.
Yeah.
I can just be like, oh no, that's the most recent post, cool, let's kind of go through it, and then do they vibe with me or not? Cool, I'll send them a message if they do, and then I just kind of go from there.
Nice. I like that. Just for the sake of, we've been going for a while and I know y'all will be getting hungry. We kind of lean into that a little bit. This is the flow I would do. This is like from easiest to hardest. Okay. So if you're already posting every day and people are liking and commenting on it, just do that. Like you should, like if you're getting more than 20, 30 likes a post, you should just be able to book 5 chats a week just from off the back of your content, right? If you're not getting that, totally fine. Move on to the next one, right? If you sent somebody a DM before and you still haven't gotten on a coffee chat with them, or I used to do this meeting called the Chop It Up session, and it was 18 minutes long. Yeah, why? It's like smiling. It's probably the first meeting we ever had, right? I think I sent you one too. And everybody would comment like 18 minutes, that's so weird. And I was like, yeah, I actually looked it up. The adult human attention span's around 18 minutes. And all of that is just memorable. Like, don't trip over the dollars to get to the pennies. Like, just enjoy it. Like, you want to, CEOs making 8 figures a year in take-home salary are miserable because they don't do stuff like this. I'm not saying like broadly, but I'm saying like the real elite thing is making enough and loving the day-to-day. Like everything you do in the day-to-day that you would do it for free, but you've somehow created alchemy and make money doing it. That's elite. It's not 100K in the bank. If you can love the day-to-day in every second and then keep making the money go up, yeah, now you're playing a video game, man. Like enjoy it, right? So this is the order I would have you do it in. Yeah, we'll go with that. If it's fun, do it every day. Like I said, a couple of minutes, get those chats. If it's not fun and it feels like a chore, conversations will still solve your problem. So just block an hour and send, you'll find your feet. Maybe if you block an hour in week 1, you'll send 50 DMs to get 5 chats. But as you get better at your messaging and more confident, maybe you only need to send 12 to get 5 chats, right? So just like, it's a system. 30 plus, you'll hit it. Okay, focus follow-ups, really freaking straightforward. If you do it weekly, you're gonna start with the tribe of people, right? I mean, I could just more or less read this. I'm really not at the stage to automate because I'm so freaking selective on who I work with, right? So if I used a tool in the past when I was misguided, it was called Expandy for LinkedIn. First of all, be careful if you use an external tool with LinkedIn. They freaking hate third-party tools. But it works really well. Absolutely works well. I basically just called people cool. I had an automated message. I was like, yo, you look cool. Are you? Essentially. And people just thought that was funny. And so I got probably 2,000 to 3,000 DM like exchanges with people just by calling people cool. It's not complex at all. But right, I've since down tooled. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. I'd rather have less at the top and just more depth than width. Right? You get to decide. I would always encourage depth over width every time if you feel like your ignorance gap is too high. And then the trade-off is, yeah, I'm probably getting less business, but it gives me more time for flow. Right? I have no concern whether I'll make enough money in the future. Right now, I'd rather like, I don't want to say a victim of burnout because it's my own fault, but like as someone who burned out a lot, like I really need to protect the workflow. Yeah? I think Jeanette's here, by the way.
Can't open that.
Yeah, there's a bottom bolt on the bottom. I think you can open it. Just undo the bottom bolt and then unlock the deadlock. No? Ah!
Yeah, when he really said you can't open that door, I can't.
Yeah.
I
I'll,
painted it, he just decided to.
2 secs. Jeanette. Yeah, that door doesn't work. Sorry, I should have told you. I'm sorry. No, you're good.
Was I interrupting your group?
Oh, I'm just in a talk, but it's casual. You're fine. No, you're fine. You're fine. It's not a big deal. We'll just edit it out in final. You're good. No, you're good.
Alright, cool. So do you want to message it? And I have like a generic, hey, like this is your birthday type of situation.
All right. Yeah, we're nearly there.
Pretty well.
I think we have like 2 more slides. I'm gonna make the final thing optional. It was like choose your own adventure type thing, but we don't have to do it because I'm running long. If you want to go this route, here's how I would do it. This is now in terms of like, oh, you're not recording, yeah. Not a big deal. In terms of workflow, like literally, and just kind of how I would do it, I would spend 2 to 4 weeks figuring out what feels right, right? Your only goal, your only metric, can I get 5 conversations a week? It doesn't have to be on the phone. I would encourage you to push yourself to get there. Because like, yeah, it's very easy to send 5 DMs and you'll get 5 responses and that's cool, right? But if it doesn't go anywhere, you haven't really flexed that muscle. So I would try and get someone to a call. It doesn't have to have a specific reason aside from you both agree that there could be something there, yeah? Whether it's energy, vibes, or whatever. So life's too short to work with people you don't want to work with, so they have to feel good to talk to, right? If they don't feel good to talk to, that's fine. Then just get out of that call and be like, that's why I did the 18-minute thing, honestly, was because if it's like a half hour or an hour, it's, oh man, I'm freaking, like, because you know within 2 minutes whether someone's worth your time. I was like, I'm going to be stuck here for an hour. So I would encourage you guys to like create an event in your calendar for 15, 18 minutes, no more than 20. And those are the calls you send people. If the vibes and energy are there, of course you'll go over 20 minutes. So just put a buffer at the end of like a 30-minute thing. Because if it's really, really solid, that's not a conversation you want to get out of. Stay there, and then they'll probably turn into a client or a customer, or at least point you in that way. Product fit, if you give them more value, would they buy? At some point, you probably only want to be talking to your ICP for the most part, or someone who you think like, man, they have an amazing network. If I got into their network, they could introduce me to more people and all that sort of stuff. I wouldn't lead with that thought, like ideology, because then you're take instead of like experience. And then do they message you just as often? If someone reciprocates, like really good freaking indicator that there's something there. Everybody talks about me and Jacob Peggs, like on call number 2, we're like brothers, right? Like there's something here, and it's been that way ever since. Cool. I would drop them off if they're like super, for me, a massive red flag since like marketing days. If someone was like, you're amazing, I love everything you do on the very first call, I'm like, you don't know me, right? Please don't do that. That freaks me out. So find your thing that like you have a boundary somewhere, do it. Do they complain a lot? More about that and talk too. And then, do they over message you? Like, are you the most important thing in their life now? That's a massive red flag. You want a needy client? It's at the top, right? Don't work with those people. Yeah, long-term plan, build the muscle until it's like super common, or you have more demand than supply. Really simple, right? Then you can get into like systemizing. I would have you make a mess. If you cannot have a conversation with a stranger every day, all of this stuff is just avoiding the problem, right? This stuff is so easy to put together when you have a reason to do it. So if somebody else is giving you advice, or you're listening to podcasts and they're saying you need a perfect pipeline, not unless you're having a conversation every day, you don't. Yeah? Like you should feel like right now I feel like, man, I could optimize so much more. And that's okay. You can sit in there for a while, right? I'm like terrible with my numbers right now. I won't be forever. I have a larger problem at the top, yeah? This is a very Kolbe slide. Conversations create evidence. Evidence creates need. Until you have evidence, do not buy a fancy system. Think long term, create evidence, and then you'll satisfy the need. Like, you do not need a spreadsheet right now. I swear to God. All right? Keep these in mind. If you are sending messages and you get 5 conversations, maybe it takes you 50 DMs in the first week or something to get 5 conversations. Some of those people will like notice the message a week later, and then it gets easier, then it gets easier, then it gets easier, right? So they compound. Finally, yeah, you guys know this. I don't need to nail on this, but like, just don't. Human connection is your freaking gateway to make a lot of money. Like, AI is great. If it replaces human connection, you're just gonna you're commoditizing yourself. Use it to deepen human connection, not replace it. Cool? Talked about this. First 100 of anything, you're gonna suck at your first 100 DMs. I still suck at my first 100 videos, all that sort of stuff. You'll suck. So the equation isn't get good at it. The equation is get the suck out of the way. Makes it way easier. And then, there you go. Talked about complacency. You guys can just read that. Thumbs up when you've read it. 5, 4, 3, 2. Amazing. Don't do it for potential clients. It's a network to business tool, as in like you hear yourself say the words, you talk to people you want to talk to, you find out what you like and you don't like. It's just like kind of this discovery is if you go into every call thinking I need to get them to buy today or 2 months from now, you're putting too much pressure on yourself. Yeah? Sales should be like really freaking fun. It shouldn't be scary, okay? And I'll teach you guys that. Anyways, you reach out to someone, they're not your vibe. If they persist, like if they keep messaging you like you're the most important thing in my life, like just tell them you're focused on something else. I'm focused on flow. I'm not taking meetings right now. I actually have a prior commitment, blah, blah, blah. And then just let them down nicely. When you nail it, life's fun, referrals go up, sales are easier, blah, blah, blah. I had way more slides than I remember. And then this was a challenge. You guys don't have to do this because you've been with me for way too long now. But promise me that you'll start having conversations with strangers after this. Yeah? Cool. Sweet. I was going to say choose 1 or 2 of these, and then the winner would get the London Lego set. But yeah.
We already built it.
I was going to say, I might just give it to Naria or Wyatt for Margie put in a little bit of work. You guys you 3 get yeah. Yeah, you 3 get first dibs on it. You can do it amongst yourselves. I'm not going to keep it, so one of you can take it home. Yeah, it does no favors to be scared, content, or thinking you're too good for it. A lot of people are like, well, I don't need to send DMs. I'm making 10K a month. I don't need to send DMs. I'm making 50K a month. It's like that mentality is a one-way ticket to you working with me and paying me a lot of money, right? Like you're never too good for it. And then this is going to be the challenge stuff. Winner, questions. That's the final slide. Done? Done? Cool.